because
Andrew, you have
All
got
right,
to
yeah,
go now.
go, go.
I'll come get you when I get through. Sorry about that.
what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. T Money 1993, and we are back with our weekly podcast, the Southbound and Down, where it's the NFC South, and we do a lot of talking about our football teams, and we all rep our teams, all diehard fans, man. Uh, so, first of all, we're gonna go to my man Greg. Greg is a Saints fan. Go ahead and drop the intro, man.
Well, this is Greg Barber here. You can contact me here at Intense TV on Twitter. I'm there all pretty much always around, even though I may not be sometimes tweeting much, but I'm around. Don't worry. So feel free to follow me. I will follow back, and just celebrating the glory of the Saints win this past Sunday.
Uh, Also, man, I guess we might as well go ahead and finish with the Saints. He's only been on a couple weeks, uh, but he's been a go-to guy so far. Sean, go ahead, man.
I'm Sean Williams. I'm one of the co-hosts of Fan First Productions New Orleans Saints podcast called Under the Dome. You can catch me on Twitter at Under the Dome PO1 or at Drew's Dad 3721. I also write for ProFootballSpot.com.
And then from the Atlanta Falcons, I was about to say Falcons by replay. Rodney, go ahead and introduce yourself, man. First show, welcome.
Well, I appreciate being here, and I'm gonna let that slide, man, just this one time. But we're gonna have to see about you again, man. Don't get in trouble now. But now, my name is Rodney Daniel, and I'm a diehard Falcons fan, and y'all can follow me at drdaniely. That's the RDANIELY, and it's a pleasure to be here.
All right, man. Welcome to the show. And as far as me, Mr. T Money 1993 on YouTube, aka Straight Facts, because that's all I speak to this YouTube thing. Also, you can find me featured on the Cat Chronicles webpage and YouTube channel. Uh, Gaming channel, T Money Gaming, if you support me like that. Other than that, let's go ahead and move on to the show. Uh, so the Falcons got into
Oh, why we got? Wait a minute. Why we got to talk about the Falcons first? I like that other game.
I mean, y'all got the
Oh,
intro
you know how they
first.
go. He's
Y'all got
saving the best
intro.
for last.
Oh my god!
He's saving the best for
Oh
last.
my god! Oh, here y'all go. Yeah, y'all got the intro first, so I was just being fair. All right.
Fair enough.
But anyway,
Okay.
the Falcons got into a competitive drag-out fight with the Seattle Seahawks that ended on a controversial play. Rodney, go ahead and tell us your thoughts on that game, man.
Well, I've been listening to a lot of commentary the past couple of days, and I got a couple of things I want to say. I mean, I've heard people say that we shouldn't have put ourselves in a situation where we had to have the refs make the decision at the end of the game, and to some degree, I agree with that. But I think that at the end of the day, the refs still have to do their job. And I think that they failed miserably, not only on that play, but there were a couple of other plays that I noticed. Like, for instance, with Devontae Freeman, with a little less than 4 minutes to go in the game, and he clearly fell inbounds, and the clock was stopped as if he went out of bounds. So, but again, being the fan that I am, it is what it is. We should have played better. There are plays that should have been made. But with that being said, we just have to, just take it as a character loss and move on to San Diego.
I have a little
All
comment
right.
on that, on something he said there. And it's most of the time with the coach speak, it's coach speak to me. when they say that we should never be in that position where the referees have to decide the game. At the same time, the coaches will at the same time say this is a tough league. Most of the games are close. They're very tight. They're decided
Yeah.
by a field goal or 1 point. The problem is, I mean, this is Seattle. If this was Cleveland, if this was somebody else who basically who would be considered a doormat, I could deal with that being said. But this is Seattle, so I mean you're playing a team right there. I mean, you're talking about a contender, a possible Super Bowl
Right.
champ. I mean, possible two Super Bowl contender. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you could have pulled away from them anyway in that game. That was that was a knockdown slug out
In
game from beginning
Seattle,
to end.
yeah, I agree.
I don't.
Now,
I haven't
well,
seen. The only game that I've seen Atlanta play this year was the massacre in the Superdome, and I don't think that
I've
I've
seen him play a
watched.
few games. I've seen him play a
I
few
haven't.
games.
I haven't watched Seattle at all, but I know what Seattle has been over the past several years, and I can understand what they're saying. Rodney, I want to ask you the prevailing mindset among NFC South fans right now at this point is okay, Atlanta's jumped out to a big lead in the division. It's early in the season. Sooner or later, they're going to hit that brick wall and it's going to nosedive just like it does every year. Is that what this team is looking at, or is it going to be a case where they flip the script on this?
well, like I said, I'm a fan, but I'm a realistic fan, and at this point, it's hard for me to say what's going to happen in the future. Um, but I do understand that it's not necessarily indicative of future results.
Sure.
So, you know, I do think this is a different team than last year because I honestly believe that if this was the same team as last year, they wouldn't have came back last week and took the lead in Seattle.
Yeah.
So I do
I
think
agree.
Well, I don't think that Dan Quinn is going to be held accountable for the Mike Smith shortcomings, if that makes any sense. I don't think this team
Right.
is the same as the teams under Mike Smith were.
I
As a leader, though, I say this about him. He's a good quarterback, no issue about it. But Matt Ryan, I feel like, is not that type of leader to rally the troops together, or when things get down, he's gonna say, "Hey, I'm putting this team on my
Right.
back," or bringing the team together. I just never really felt that about him.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't think that he's that guy like that. No, he's definitely not that type of guy. I think he can carry a team if it had to be on him. I think he's got the capabilities and the tools to do it. But I don't know. I don't. And right now, with the running game, the way it's running for them, and with being able to use Telvin Coleman in the passing game, they really don't have to do that. So
Yeah.
for them,
And
it's uh
but
that's why I feel like their health is so
huh.
key to this team, because I think right now that offense is really balling right now because you have to
They're healthy.
choose. You
Yeah,
have to choose. Are you going to stop Julio, or are you going to stop their backs? Because I've
agreed.
seen a lot of it. If you're going to, like, New Orleans decided they was going to take out Julio, whether they got to double him, triple him, whatever they got to do. And what they did a lot of is using Julio as a decoy to create space for them
Yep.
running backs.
Yep.
Now we did
Agreed.
the opposite of we gonna stop them backs and we gonna play Julio 1-on-1, and we seen what happened in that situation.
Yeah, that was yeah,
Andrew,
yeah. Blood
uh,
everywhere.
Andrew,
so
Blood
I think
everywhere.
you have
I,
got
I think long as Telvin, Devontae, and Julio are healthy right now, it's not gonna be no stopping that offense.
I do kind of disagree with y'all as far as Matt carrying the team on his back. I mean, he's not a
you
world
have got
beater
to
like
get out
say
of here now.
he's not a world beater like say a Tom Brady or something like that. But I mean, he has been
Take all of it.
proven to
Get the
be
hell out of here.
he has proven to you know
Get back in yonder.
get those plays in the last second of the game. To put us in a position to win close games. So I mean, I know that hasn't been the case that much as of late, but he has that potential to do that.
So you talking about from as far as play on the field or that type of leader as well?
Well, 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 more play on the field, but I do think that he possessed uh, good enough leadership abilities to carry the team. I do believe that.
I think he got
I
the
just I
skill.
don't like
I
I feel like that was more sort of Roddy and Julio's job as far as to me they seem like the more leaders or calming effect on that offense as long as you really had them guys together. I mean, of course Tony when he was there, but I just feel like even last year during that skid, I didn't feel like Matt Ryan was going to be the one to bring that team together.
right.
Yeah, and that's I honestly feel like you would never hear him say it, but I think uh, he was too thrown back by Kyle Shanahan's offense. You know what I mean? Julio is a leader, but he's more of a leader by example.
Yeah, but see, I don't think any of the players are necessarily, especially on the offensive side, for Atlanta is not necessarily particularly on-field leaders. I think they lead that to the coaches. I think they lead by they playing the example more than anything,
Right.
because you really think about it, like in New Orleans, everybody knows you answer to Drew Brees if you on that field. If you screw up something, that's he's gonna come after you, or not necessarily come after you, but he's gonna talk to you about what you did wrong or what happened. I don't think you have. I don't think the play if a receiver misses a route in Atlanta, I don't think they come to Matt Ryan. I think they go to Kyle Shanahan or they go to the head coach. I don't. You know what I mean? So it's you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not. They don't come to. They're not gonna come to him in New England. They come to Brady. If they screw up, it's not necessarily coming to Belichick. You got to come to Brady first because you trust that he knows the offense and he's going to say something about it. I don't see Ryan walking up to Julio and say, "Hey, you missed that route, or you should have came back 5 yards." Or something like that. I think the coach would correct him.
And that's no knock on Ryan as a leader because
No, no,
I don't think necessarily Cam is always that guy either. I think he
right,
can be when he wants to
right,
be,
right.
but I think more so for my team, Greg
Yep,
Olsen is that dude offensively that's always going to check whether it's the wide receiving core,
yep.
the tight end
Right,
core.
and yeah, and like I said, I mean, I think on our team is definitely Drew that everybody got to answer to. Every other team got certain players that everybody, that's the dude right there. You got to answer to when you screw up, or if he's getting on your ass because you missed the block, or you weren't somewhere, or something like
Hmm.
that. And I think with Ryan, I think
Yeah,
he got the skills to carry a team. As far as the leadership part, I'm not. I think he really just passes it off to the coaches.
yeah.
Okay.
Like defensively, it's definitely Thomas Davis. I've seen Thomas Davis
Yeah.
grab players. I've seen him push players. I've seen him get up in players' faces. Uh, so yes, you had them different guys on every team, and sometimes
Yeah.
it's not even always your most talented guys,
No.
which
Right.
sometimes is a good thing and sometimes can be an issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Agreed.
but moving on from that, the New Orleans Saints got a W against my team. Sean, we're gonna let you go ahead and go first. You have to unmute yourself, and then go ahead and talk about the game, man.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
All right. Well, a win is a win is a win, and in the National Football League, there's no such thing as an ugly win. Um, because at the end of the season, when they're counting them up, they don't ask you was it a pretty one or an ugly one. They just ask you if you won or not. Um, I think you saw a really telling game as far as where both of these teams were and are. You saw uh, the Saints jump out to a 21-point lead and
hmm
win a game on a 50-yard field goal with 11 seconds left on the clock. I think that speaks a lot to Carolina's ability to fight their way back into a game. Obviously, it speaks a lot to the shortcomings of our offense or defense, whichever way that you want to look at it, in regards to finishing out the game. Um, But by the same token, I think what Greg and I said a week ago on here about where the game was going to be won or lost up front and
Hmm.
such things as that. I think those all really played out to be exactly as we thought they would.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. A lot of quarterback hits. You saw, I mean, got after Cam and they was able to kind of keep him in the pocket like I wanted them to do, so he don't run those lanes and get up the field. But I think part of it, honestly, I kept getting the feeling that Cam wasn't trying to necessarily either run either. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I
I
really think I agree. I thought he was kind of taming himself a little bit from trying to run or go out. I really think the coaches might have talked to him about that, stay in the pocket more,
Yep.
but and things like that, because I just had that sense. And don't get me wrong, I'm not arguing about it. I prefer he stay there so we can
Well,
hit him.
I
And
agree
they
with
did.
you.
And
there's
they
Even
did.
in that 90 seconds he gave them after the game, he
Yeah,
said, "I did what the coaches asked me to do." So I feel like
exactly.
they came
Yeah,
into that game telling him
right,
not to really run unless he had to. And in fact,
right.
the only
Yeah,
time I really remember him running was a touchdown.
yeah, right, exactly. And now when it more of a trick play because everybody went one way and he went the other. So they
Yeah,
was trying to make sure to minimize his hits. And that even on that
yeah.
play, they were trying to minimize his hits. And but I had gotten the sense that he's not. I mean, because I've seen this dude since he was in Auburn, and I know how he plays, and I know what he. And most of the time, he would have been trying to truck somebody and try to run the ball, and he just didn't.
yeah.
So he came out to pretty bad. So that concussion probably was pretty bad, and probably he probably was like he probably barely slipped through to play that game. Is what it told
Yeah.
me.
The
Uh, there.
I'm
Hmm.
sorry.
Go ahead.
T Man, I got a question for you. Do
Go
you
ahead, sir.
think that the coaches, telling him not to essentially play his game, do you think that's affecting his play and his attitude on and off the field?
Um, his play, not really, because I think at this point he can sort of be that drop back guy if he wants to be. I think it hurts him more psychologically because I feel like he gets that little, I don't know, extra kick, rush of adrenaline, however you want to say it, from running the ball. And
Right, and but
I also think at times I didn't really see that. I didn't really feel that way in this game, but there's some games where I feel like he's sort of like a running back of in the sense of
mm,
he has to feel that first hit, and
right.
that's sort of what calms him down from what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know,
exactly.
boosting
Yeah.
himself
Yeah.
or overhyping
Get rid of the
himself.
jitters. Yeah. Kind of get the hell knocked out of
Yeah,
you or hit somebody, and then you kind of get the jitters out. Yeah. And I get
Right.
that. Yeah. You get the jitters out.
Well,
Now
yeah,
you
but I
back.
didn't. I mean, I didn't feel like that at this game. I just feel like one of the keys that I stressed last week was rhythm, and I feel like it took too long to get in that rhythm. And Greg Olson kind of talked about it after that game, but I think that was the biggest thing. It took us too long. Against New Orleans, it's going to be hard to come back from 21 nothing down, especially with the way our defense is set up. I just didn't. We almost did it, but at some point, I felt like it wasn't going to happen. And then with Gano, I'm so tired of him missing kicks. Uh,
well, you could
that
go.
changed the game a little bit.
You could talk to just about any Saints fan in the world, and if they're honest with you, they'll tell you that at the end of that first quarter, when it was 21 to nothing, none of them felt secure in that.
Oh God, no, not at all. No, because I mean, especially when it was 21 nothing, and then you guys had scored some points there, and you cut it down to 14, and I'm like, all right, yeah. And even Payton had told the players they got to play all 60, and
Yeah.
and they in a sense kind of laid. I don't know. They laid back. I don't know what happened there. And because a couple times I thought on offense, some
They
of the
got
play calling
they
was
got
bad. It's
they got way
conservative a
too
little bit.
conservative.
Yeah, because I thought they did a little bit in
And
the third quarter.
also one thing that had an effect adversely, I'll say this, is Pete getting hurt and Hills having to come in.
That's very
Hills
true.
wasn't Hills was not prepared for that,
No.
and it showed on that one drive where he had It was as
Yeah,
fast as
right. Yeah, he had a false
Michael Thomas
start.
is.
He ran out. Yeah, he freaking ran out on it was a long pass, and he thought it was a screen pass or something. Oh yeah,
It
I
was
mean,
a it was about a 20-yard. Well, it was 13 to go for the first down, and Thomas
yeah,
caught
that
it
was a good
just beyond the first
the
down
first down
marker,
mark. Yeah, and blew it.
and
It was a
Hills was 5 yards
blew,
away from him.
yeah, yeah. It was that was a cluster. That was an absolute cluster. And then they had that
But I
other
mean,
series, huh?
when you're trying to run out the clock,
Yeah,
things like that matter. And at the same time, how long is it going to be before they figure out that you're not helping your defense at all when you're supposed to be running out the clock, and instead of putting the ball on the ground and killing the clock and giving your defense some time to catch their breaths, you're just throwing 3 incomplete passes or
yeah,
2 completes and 1 incomplete, and then punting the ball and then have them get back out on the field.
yeah. Because me myself,
By the end of the game, man, they're going to be worn out.
Carolina wasn't stopping the run, but even all year, I felt like even against the Raiders and the other ones, I thought Ingram ran fairly well when they did give him the ball. He was, you know, he was getting some yardage and eating some, and he's an old school 20, 25 times. And I think they really, really have to learn to script that in there. That you know
Yeah,
what, he's got to get 25 carries one way or another, and just get them in there, especially when you
yeah,
got those games close and things like that. Just to get those carries in there so he can get them in there, and then late in the game, I think you can use them a lot more to wear that team down. But you try to put, even if it's in that first half, a good 10 runs for the guy and let him run and just, you know what I mean? Even if they don't go anywhere at this point, and you can make it up in the pass game
I
anyway.
feel like with us, I think it's sometimes other teams give our front seven that type of respect of if they run a couple times and it's not really working,
Right.
they just feel like we're gonna stop it for the whole game. Like I feel like even when we played Tampa, Tampa reached that point. Tampa really ran the ball well in the first quarter. Like
Right.
Jacquees had what 100 and something. He had
Uh-huh.
60 in the first quarter. But I feel like once we stopped it and started showing them that they weren't going to be able to run the ball on us, they sort of got away from it. I mean, either that or it's just, I mean,
Well,
you
number
can beat
two,
our secondary whenever you want. So
but also think that you look at it, yeah, right. And I was gonna say when you look at a lot of cases too, when you like why sit there and pound yourself running when you got a secondary like yours, which right now is a little inexperienced as well. You kind of running through the same things that we are. People come after your secondary. Number two, you can get bigger chunks of yards. You know what I'm saying? Because you can get that
yeah,
15-yard pass. You know, you get in 3, 4, 5 passes, you probably can get down the field right away, at least get in field goal position. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Just because their secondary right now is having issues. So you're right.
yeah,
Don't go through. Why go through the front seven? You know,
yeah.
hurt
Well,
this.
that
You know,
Peyton went so far as to say that in the presser. They asked him why at the end of the game he didn't try to run the ball and kill the clock, and he said they felt a lot better about the matchups that they had against the
yeah, and it's hard.
secondary than they did on the front seven.
And I couldn't blame them in a sense because I think as much as I would love they should run as much the common sense will say you should run it to wear the clock down. The pass game almost makes it easier, especially when you got Drew Brees there. You know, can pop them at any point. So I get it. But like you said, yeah, because and why you deal with that front seven when that front seven is their strength.
Yeah,
yeah. I
you
know a lot of people are going to say corners this and corner that and Josh Norman this. I feel like the biggest issue with my secondary really is the safety play. There's so many times where you
Hmm.
just like, where is the safety? Like that one, I
The
think it was
Brandon
with
Coleman.
Cook.
Yep.
I was gonna, whichever one ran that double
Yeah,
move
the
and beat
Cooks. Yeah,
Sanchez.
the Cooks, the 87-yarder. Yep.
I'm like, where is the like? Kurt Coleman was not looking at Cooks at all. He was looking inside. I think I can't remember which tight end it was, but like it's the inability of our safeties to stay over the top. I think is a bigger problem really than my corners.
Hmm.
And
And
for all the people, all the
mhm.
Panther fans who talk about Norman this and Norman that, how much did we get a Breeze with Norman last year? And he gave up what 38-40 last year.
Yeah, it was 41-38 last year
Uh,
with Norman.
yeah.
It was same score, but the Panthers won that game.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah,
Breeze gonna
I,
ball regardless.
Hmm.
yeah, I think Norman got over like a fat rat, to be honest.
I agree. I agree. I think he's good corner. I don't think he got the money he got. I don't think they should have been given it. He shouldn't have gotten that. I just don't see it. You
Not after
know.
one season.
No, agreed. But the
Uh,
Redskins,
See, it's
but the
one
Redskins are
season of y'all,
suckers.
but really,
Hmm.
the year before he did play well the second half of the year. His problem has never been on the field. It's always his attitude and who he can rub the wrong way. I mean, even if you go back and look, his rookie year, he played well when he balled. Uh, I think we played the Cowboys maybe, and I think he held Dez to like 2 catches or something. He's always had the talent. It's
Right.
just who is he gonna rub the wrong way? He's sort of your TO of cornerbacks, we'll say.
Yeah. Yeah.
oh
But
my lord.
Nah,
N-
Richard Sherman reincarnated.
Yeah,
Man,
but
he couldn't carry Richard Sherman's cigarette case.
I ain't gonna say that because Sherman. To
I
me,
don't
it's
think Richard Sherman is all of that.
I don't
exactly.
either.
To me, it's really no corner like that. Like I don't even feel they give Patrick Peterson that nod, but I just feel like he's a better athlete than a lot of
yeah,
other corners.
Yeah.
agreed. Agreed.
I don't really
I
I
feel
think
mean,
like I don't really
I
feel like
think
he's shutting guys down. I mean, I remember a couple years ago when he went against Julio, and Julio had two something on him.
well, everybody's looking for that Dion or that Lester Hayes, that Mike Haynes. They're looking for those guys, and it's not that many out there.
they don't
And
make them
I
that
don't,
way no more.
no, they don't.
I don't, I ain't seen one really since Champ.
Yeah, for a while in his career, yeah,
Yeah.
and then
I
for a
mean,
while there,
Revis for my generation,
he had a couple
younger
of years.
fans,
Recent,
Revis is really the closest we seen
true,
to that guy who's gonna just lock
right?
somebody up and totally take them out the game.
Yeah,
The
not
best
Other
thing
anymore.
than
that
that,
the best thing Darrell Revis had going for him was a PR campaign.
Not real. I mean, I thought he could lock a guy down. He definitely could shut him down. He could
yeah,
definitely
because I
shut him
seen
down.
him.
But
I
not
mean, even the
consistently
best of
though.
what we could see.
Not
I feel like Revis. I feel like Revis had that time where he was locking
Yeah.
guys
Oh,
up every week.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he did for a couple years there. He absolutely was. And then he had a couple years here where a couple slipped by. You know how that goes. You
I
know,
mean, now the wheels are starting to go bad. It's the biggest thing.
starting. It
Well,
ain't even
yeah,
a
they are
man,
be
dollar.
bad.
man, them wheels ain't getting bad. That thing's
Yeah,
up on blocks right now.
yeah, you ain't joking. That sucker. He ain't even got wheels.
But
That dude, he looking for some wheels.
but other than Revis, like I haven't really felt that way about Pat. I really haven't felt that way about Sherm. I mean, closest
Well,
maybe Joe Hayden.
those guys in Seattle, Sherman, he's talented. Cam Chancellor, he's talented. Uh, Browner in that system was okay, but see that's the whole thing for those guys in Seattle. They benefit from playing with each other,
Right, exactly. That's
and
what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
It was a
that
team.
yeah.
It's
that
more of a team
unit,
secondary. Yeah,
yeah, that unit is more of a unit than it is the individual players
exactly.
that
That's
make it
exactly what I
up.
was gonna
I've
say. The same thing.
I've really felt like the best player in that secondary really has been Earl Thomas for me.
Yeah. Oh, easily,
Absolutely.
easily, without a doubt. Not even a question. Not
No.
even a question.
Sherman
Not.
makes a lot of noise and turns a lot of heads, but and I'll give him one thing: he's very intelligent. He's too
Yes, he is.
intelligent to act like a raving lunatic the way that he does. I get being competitive and all of that. You don't need all that foolishness. That just makes you look.
I feel like his stuff is a little more calculated than your average guy though.
It is now for
Agreed.
sure. After that first Super Bowl, you can rest assured that he knew everything he was doing from that point on, and still does.
I feel like I don't really like even the whole little rant he had in this last game. I don't feel like I mean, yeah, it comes from an emotional place, but I feel like it's still he's kind of learned what to say and how to
Yeah,
make them flip that switch, in my opinion.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that secondary has been together for so long now,
right,
which
right.
which really, if you think about it, that's really an oddity these days in this league when you have
I mean, they
guys
really
with
don't
that
do
talent.
anything but switch that second corner every year.
Yep,
Yeah,
pretty much. That's pretty much. Everybody else is there. Everybody, the other three will stay there, and that's it. They're there.
But
And,
but I can tell you one thing though, they would be nearly as good as everybody perceived them to be if it wasn't for their front seven.
absolutely.
That's true.
yeah, agreed.
There
Yeah,
is probably nobody in the league right now. I'll say in the past, with the exception of possibly New England, that has bought into and played more closely to the concept of it being a team than Seattle, maybe New England.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
because I feel like I never know who New England's pass rushers are. And I don't never really think of no guy that's going to have like 10, 12, 15 sacks like on other teams.
Yeah,
And yet,
no, yeah, but
But
no,
the
they. I
beauty,
mean,
but the beauty is they make plays though. They
yeah.
make
yeah, that's the
plays.
whole thing.
They are
They get the
system
turnovers,
players.
right? Yep, pretty much.
How I do hate them
yeah.
so.
But looking forward to this week, Falcons have San Diego this week, right?
Yep.
So looking at that game, it's in San Diego, I think, isn't it?
No, it's here in Atlanta.
Okay. What would be your three keys to beating San Diego besides showing up the way San Diego been looking?
I think the first most important thing, and you said that right. Do not play down to the level of your competition. You know, San Diego, they're coming off a bye first of all, and second, they're coming off a big win against Denver. So they're riding high right now. So, but at the same time, they are the San Diego Chargers, so they can't play down to the level of the competition. Number two, San Diego's been pretty decent against the run so far this year, so it's important uh, the Falcons stay committed to the run and let Devontae and Tevin Coleman do what they do. And the third thing I think is again to not get complacent. I can't stand one thing I can't stand about the Falcons is when they get up on the lead, they get really conservative and start playing prevent defense, which has not worked this season, which allows teams to come back. They need to stay on their throat the entire game and win that game convincingly. Uh, um, I mean, it drives me crazy as a fan just to see that week in and week out. That prevent defense. I want to lose a TV just watching it. So, but but just like I said, don't play down to the level of their opponent. Stick to the run because the run is predicated. I mean, you predicate the run off the pass and stay on their necks if you get up. If you start fast, finish fast. You know.
All right.
Well said.
That's definitely three good keys. The Saints have Kansas City, I think, this week.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sean, go ahead and give us your three keys to the game. I'm sure y'all going to agree either way. I mean, y'all might as well combine it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I'll take one and then I'll give the other two to Greg. I think the most important thing we're going to have to do, uh, the margin for error is going to be so thin, and you're going to have to put together a flawless game plan and execute. You can't afford to go out there and make your costly penalties, your turnovers. You're going to have to play mistake-free football and put together a solid effort. And you're going to be playing in one of the absolute most hostile environments in the National Football League in Arrowhead Stadium. And You just got to go in there and find a way to do it.
Agree. Totally agree. And it was funny. I was going to put about, especially the turnovers, because you don't want all those extra possessions. Giving Kansas
Yeah.
City those extra possessions. Kansas City plays a ball control type offense. You know what I mean? Alex Smith is not going to necessarily burn you. I think the whole key here is what you do. What they do need to do is the same thing they did against Carolina. Try to get off to a good start. In other words, try to get a 14-point lead
Yeah.
on and get like a 2 touchdown, 2 score. Try to stay a couple scores ahead of them and keep them down, keep them going. And so what we're going that's the one thing is to get that good start. And just number two is to try to really get that team off the field. Slow that. If they can stop that run, I think they can beat them right there. Because if you allow Spencer Ware and Jamal Charles to just like do whatever they want as far as run game, you're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have a hard time trying to get them. But I think they got to try to get them into a almost a shootout in a sense, because I don't think they have the weapons for a shootout. They're not built to a shootout where the Saints are. So I think that's the whole key right there to really get those points up and force them to have to try to come back on you quickly.
I think that, like he said, the shootout concept probably does favor the Saints quite a bit. But and make no mistake about it, in this stretch that I call the gauntlet, which goes from the
Yeah,
first Carolina game to the second Carolina game,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it is.
um, in that stretch, this will be the most difficult team, or what I consider to be the strongest team that we play. Um, and but I don't think that Kansas City is nearly the overwhelming force that people originally perceive them to be. I
No,
think
no, I agree. Not without Justin Houston there. That's a
no,
big thing. I mean, Marcus
I
Marcus
think too.
Peters.
It's took
Uh huh.
Jamal Charles so long to get his legs back too.
Yeah,
I don't. I don't think that Jamal Charles is ever going to be the player that he used to be. He's been down too long.
yeah. I mean, you do have to still keeping your eye open for Spencer Ware because I mean he did
Yeah,
play. He's a good running back. And like I said, Marcus Peters on defense is your other worry that you may not attend. He may take away a receiver for you.
yeah,
But the fact that they lost one of their cornerbacks, plus the fact I think we have enough weapons to cause
sure,
them problems, especially with Fleener. If Fleener, who played very well this week, and also Josh Hill, I mean they can
yeah,
do 2 tight end sets and put both tight ends out there. They can also go out there and put the 4 wide receiver sets. They got enough speed. They got enough guys who can get in there. I think you spread them out a little bit, and I think you go after them, and
absolutely.
you might be able to beat Peters here and there because he can't cover everybody. He's a
Well,
hell of
what
a
we had
player.
we had two guys on that covered the Chiefs on our show last night,
Uh huh.
and they told me something that I was not aware of. Um, they don't flop Peters. They don't send him on the receiver. He plays on one side.
Right. Yeah, and most defenses they are like that. So I mean, yeah, if anything, you put Cooks on one, you can put Cooks on another side against another cornerback, and you put what you could put is not necessarily a weakest receiver, but somebody who that Peters just have to, you know. But I got a feeling in this one, I got a feeling that they may change that up and they may have Peters cover Cooks. Because you
Yeah,
think about it, Cooks has had a lot of big plays in this game. I mean, this season, and yeah,
sure has.
he has a lot of major plays, and he can break an 80, 90 yard on you. So I mean,
He he's got
you might want to switch
he
that up.
he's got the two longest touchdown catches from scrimmage in the
Yeah, this
league this
season,
season.
yes, he does, and he like tied a record, I think, on it. So,
Thank you, NFL. You are welcome.
and it's gonna be more to come, baby. It's gonna be more to come.
Yes, indeed.
All
You
right,
got
now
to
y'all
take
calm
pride in
down.
something.
Calm down, calm down.
Oh, we catching up to Atlanta. Don't worry, buddy. Don't worry. Don't
Uh,
worry.
Now, as far as my team, 3 keys to not lose to the bye. One, don't put Cam in a press conference. Two, Don't let any corners play this week. And 3, Jonathan Stewart, go ahead and take the week off, man. Don't practice at all. I don't need you doing nothing crazy, pulling no hamstrings. I don't need you to pull no Tevin Coleman and fall in the shower, get yourself a concussion. Just go ahead and take the week off, Jay Stu, man. But nah, being in sick.
I got a 4th one.
But I think
Cam Newton, stay off that Segway.
True.
In the middle
I don't
of the
know.
street.
And I've
Yeah.
got just a suggestion. Y'all better watch the middle for Julio.
Oh yeah, Julio still probably running on the field somewhere right now.
I told Joey earlier that that's why the Carolina Panthers had to release Ben Wickery because he was still chasing Julio Jones that many days ago.
He chased him all the way down to Miami.
And back.
But other than that, in all seriousness, man, I hope my team gets their head on straight.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something,
It's
T-Money.
just
I saw a
it's
lot of
just
things.
frustrating to see. Oh, go ahead.
I saw a lot of things out of your team Sunday that I really didn't know whether or not to expect to see. I mean, when you guys got down 21 points pretty quick, they could have chucked it in. And obviously, I don't think that this team is made that way. They managed to fight their way back into this game. They never gave up on it.
I mean, as a Panther fan, like you said, that doesn't surprise me. My whole thing is to let yourself get in into that situation because you've been talking every week how things are going to be different. This is our time. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And it's just starting slow every week. It's just annoying because we can be better. We can be that team that put up X amount of points versus New Orleans. But why not do that from the beginning? Why let yourself get down 21-0?
Yeah. Well, I
Well,
mean, a lot of that too is those pass interference penalties that hurt New Orleans defense more than anything.
Yeah, but I mean, that
wasn't going to
comes
bring that
with
up.
having those giants at receiver. And they finally played Kelvin and Funches at the same time. I don't understand that, why they don't. I don't understand the whole, you advertised them as the Twin Towers when we drafted them. But they very rarely play together. If you watch a lot of Funches snaps is when Kelvin get tired, they'll put Funches in Kelvin position. Instead of, I understand Ted Ginn had 10 touchdowns last year, but why not put Funches, Kelvin on the outside, Ginn and Philly, or Ginn and Olsen on the inside? I just don't understand why we don't do that more. And Funches snaps went up against New Orleans, and he produced some.
Yeah.
But it's just annoying. Then the secondary, I just don't get what they be doing. I talked about not blitzing the safeties. I don't understand when we do that. You already know we have unexperienced guys. I know a lot of my Panthers fans are mad because we signed a tight end and not a cornerback or a defensive end.
Well,
I
you guys
think,
worked out 14 players. You worked out another
yeah,
14 players today.
I think if anything, that says something about they must think either or both Bobby Mack and Bradbury's gonna be back after the bye, which Bradbury has played well all year when he's been there. Um, so hopefully that'll help. We're also getting. I don't know if y'all remember Leonard Johnson from the Bucks.
I
He's getting
remember.
close.
Oh yeah.
He's getting close to coming back. So I guess they're
Well,
gonna use this bye week to try to get the troops to come in.
I wish that y'all would sign Khalif Barnes on the offensive line so he would quit coming through our door and leaving again.
Bro, I see y'all try to release him like every week. I noticed that.
5 times so far.
Like,
he'll
is he?
be back.
I don't understand what that says more. Is he not good enough to stay on the team, or is he so good that he doesn't need to be a free agent? I don't get that.
His first tweet out on Twitter after the Saints signed him the first time was, what the DWI or DUI laws like in New Orleans. I said, "Oh my Lord, I'm not."
Like it's no even like most guys they get cut or something. They thank the organization and all that kind of stuff. Ain't even no point in doing that.
No, not for him because he know be back anyway. They probably sign him again in 2 weeks.
I'll be back in a couple days.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he
His
just. I mean, he probably just staying in New Orleans at this point till they sign him again. That's pretty much. I think they do that with a few guys. They've done it with a few guys. They have a couple of guys. They probably just tell them stay by the phone. You never know.
only one whose
I knew when
locker door is a revolver.
I knew when we cut Brenton Burson, he was coming back. For anybody who doesn't know, Joe and Tony and them, all of them know, Sunshine as I call him, because he got long blonde hair, so like Sunshine off Remember the Titans. He grew up next door. He grew up next door, real close to Jerry Richardson. So no matter what, he always got a job.
Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if y'all remember him playing catcher a couple years ago when we tried to make him a punt returner, but I called for him to get cut then. And he's still hanging around. Not only that, he went to high school here too. I think at Charlotte Latin or one of them bigger private schools. So he always has a job, no matter how good or bad he plays.
Yeah, we've had
we
quite a few quarterbacks come through like that.
We ran that reverse pass, and that's what they try to throw at you. I don't understand that. First of all, why is Ted Ginn throwing that? We have Joe Webb who plays every position but kicker.
Pretty much.
If you're gonna do that, why not put him at wide receiver and let an actual quarterback throw the ball rather than Ted Ginn? And then you
Probably
throw it
too
to
obvious. Probably was too obvious.
They thought Burson of all people.
Yeah, they probably thought it was just gonna be too obvious with Joe Webb. If he's out there, they probably figured they already know what he's gonna do.
But then you throw it to Brenton Burson. I mean, luckily we got the pass interference on Sterling Moore. But at no point when we read that play did I believe Brenton Burson was going to catch it.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, I'm fixing to have to jump out of here.
Yeah, we all about to. So closing out the show, man. Let us go ahead and I guess we'll let the Saints do it since they won. Do either one of y'all have a question for somebody else?
T Money, are the Panthers
Oh Lord.
Are you guys gonna be able to pull it together from this point?
Honestly, I have no clue. And as a big Panthers fan, I've been that one to keep pounding, but it's just like it's almost feel like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't at this point, man. I think we invent new ways to lose at this point.
You know what, man? Honestly, though, I feel like the way y'all play against New Orleans, I mean, y'all should have some encouragement, though. Y'all should be encouraged about what y'all saw.
I felt like that after the Tampa game, though. Like, to me, honestly, the two losses I've seen this year out of the 5 that I was like, really, what is this team? Who is this team? Was Atlanta and Minnesota. Because the Minnesota game, we just got punched in the mouth. And I'm like, that's not the Carolina Panthers to get punched in the mouth and just fold. Because, I mean, we start off, I think, with a 10-0 lead, and then we didn't score after.
No, yeah, you ain't getting nothing else after that.
And as far as the sacks we was giving up, I was like, okay, who is this team? I don't know this team. The Atlanta game, I felt like that more about my coaching staff than the players. Because, again, I still don't understand. Like, how many yards did you need Julio to get before you stopped blitzing safeties? Like, I mean, like, even at the end where we were trying to come back, all they did was let Julio run a slant, and he took it, and that was his last, 75, I think? Was that last touchdown?
75, yep.
So, but Tampa and the New Orleans game, I felt like, okay, I know this team. We might have still lost, but I know this team. So I don't know. And then we
I
got it. Oh, go
like I
ahead.
say, I think you guys showed up a lot better than A, what
We
people thought you would, and B, a lot better than a lot of people were giving you credit for your team being.
Yeah, we did, but we got Arizona, which if you watch their Amazon video little series, they have a personal vendetta against us, and we not even that same team anymore. So it'll
Yeah.
definitely been interesting to see. Which I mean, I can't blame them. We have put them out. I think the past 2 years out the
Yep.
playoffs.
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah, I'm sure they feel like how we was getting to feel about Seattle. Uh, Greg, you got a question?
One for Rodney. Uh, let's see. Will the Falcons fan will you or the Falcons fans panic if you lose to San Diego? Will you get that feeling that crash is about to come, or do you feel like that it was just a bump, just a blip on the radar?
Well, it really depends on the circumstances behind the loss. I mean, like in any given game, anything can happen. Matt Ryan can go down, Julio can go down. I mean, it really just depends on the circumstances surrounding the loss. I mean, if we just go out as a team and just lay an egg and just be flat the whole game, I wouldn't necessarily say panic mode, but I would be concerned. But it really just depends on the circumstances surrounding the loss as to whether
Okay.
I would say, okay, ring the alarm, whatever.
I think it has
All
some
right.
potential. I feel like the y'all last year, the San Francisco game. Yeah. I feel like if Philip Rivers is involved in this y'all, y'all can do